What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, all the new provisions that have been announced for the fourth stimulus check package and the infrastructure package, as well as what's going on in the world today. Several different things to discuss all over the board, lots of different stimulus items. Let's jump right in. Don't forget to hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on video updates on the fourth stimulus check, on the fourth stimulus check package, and all the additional provisions that might be in it. First up, the Treasury and the IRS have sent out 2 million more stimulus check payments today to various different groups, including Social Security recipients and also people expecting or maybe not expecting plus up payments. So let me know if you received it today. It also could be in the mail as we're speaking. So yeah, 2 million more stimulus checks still going out, just to, actually landing today for the fourth stimulus check. I'm sorry, for the third stimulus check for the $1,400. Still going out. They're still sending this money out. So if you haven't got it yet, don't panic because the IRS and the Treasury Department is still sending this money out. Quick unemployment updates. Yeah, unemployment is having a lot of issues. Let me and let our community know down below in the comments if unemployment has paused for you, or if you're missing benefits, or if you're missing your $300 per week unemployment bonus. As you can see here, at least 300,000 people in 33 states are losing unemployment benefits earlier than expected. A policy instrument designed as a buffer for unemployed Americans is broken in 33 states, according to a new report released this week by the California Policy Lab. The Extended Benefits Program is meant to provide jobless aid to people who have exhausted regular benefits in high unemployment states. Earlier federal rescue packages that Congress approved lengthened the ability period for people to get the new assistance. But it appears the program is shuttering off because it's not counting long-term unemployed people collecting emergency federal stimulus aid in a measurement used to gauge the share of the workforce claiming unemployment benefits, aka they're having multiple glitches over in the unemployment systems. Quote, it's as if the Titanic had stopped loading the lifeboats because some people have already gotten off the ship. Wow. As you can see here, when unemployment rises to a certain level, extended unemployment benefits automatically trigger on, providing prolonged coverage for workers. The pandemic has broken these triggers, leading extended benefits to prematurely turn off in 33 different states and counting. As you can see here on this graph, all these states in red are having issues with this. So if you're in a red state, this could be part of the reason why you might be missing unemployment paychecks, or you could be paused, or you could be having difficulties with this. To make matters worse is that several states are also struggling with the $300 per week bonus. Let me know if you haven't been getting your $300 per week unemployment bonus, and it's basically just gone, as these states are trying to figure out how to update their systems for the third stimulus check package that has now been passed for like a month or more. And yeah, they're still trying to figure out how to extend the $300 per week unemployment bonus. Even though it didn't lapse, they passed the third stimulus check package and before the unemployment bonuses lapsed, and the bonus stayed the same at $300 per week. This shows you how antiquated a lot of these systems in our government are, which is only more the reason to build infrastructure, because honestly, a lot of these government agencies are just running on antique systems, computer systems, and programs that just haven't been updated for decades. And anytime there's a small change, say a new stimulus package passes, a new change, a lot of these systems just really, really struggle. And we also seen this happen with the third stimulus check when Social Security beneficiaries and VA beneficiaries got their checks last, maybe even still getting them, or one of the last batches, as basically Social Security and the VA had to manually send over the information for tens of millions of people to the IRS, and then the IRS had to manually go through and check it. So yeah, it's infrastructure improvement would be a good thing for our country going forward. The Republicans unveiled a $568 billion counter infrastructure plan. This is for the first portion of the infrastructure plan announced by President Biden. And listen to what the White House responded with. I was shocked by this, although I wouldn't take this too seriously. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters that the White House and Biden administration believes that the $568 billion proposal from Senate Republicans, unveiled earlier in the day, is a legitimate starting point for ongoing talks. And she said that the president would likely host lawmakers in the White House for further discussions. She says, quote, "It's the beginning of a discussion, and the next steps will be the conversation at the staff level, conversations between senior members in our administration, members of Congress, and yeah." This comes as Republicans have largely balked at Biden's American Jobs Proposal, which is the first part of the infrastructure package. The second part, which is the American Families Plan, which has more of the stimulus items in there, is $2.2 to $2.3 trillion worth investing in roads, bridges, railways, electric vehicles, broadband, long-term care workers, weatherizing buildings, and climate-friendly industries. Now, the White House might be saying that this is a good starting point. This is less than one fourth or less than 25% of what the Democrats and the Biden administration want. Now, of course, you have some more moderate Democrats like Senator Joe Manchin, but you also have some more progressive Democrats. Moderate Democrats tend to want less. They always want to spend less, aka Joe Manchin, the thorn in the side of the Democrat side. But then you also have Democrats, and really a larger group of Democrats, that want more. They typically want more stimulus checks, they want more aid, they want more money for seniors, more money for unemployment, and in this case, more money for infrastructure, largely led by the progressives, AOC, Representative Jayapal, and the squad, the progressive squad, which is a pretty large group of Democrats. I mean, Representative AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, says that really the $2.2 trillion is actually small in comparison because it's spread out over 15 to 20 years. So if we took $2.2 trillion and spread it out by let's just say 10 years, that's only $220 billion a year. And that might sound like a lot because it has that, crazy word, the B word there, billions. But in reality, billions of dollars for the entire country really doesn't go that far when you talk about roads and bridges and water and replacing pipes and broadband infrastructure, and making affordable housing, building entire housing buildings, all the different infrastructure things they want to do, affordable broadband. And really, at $200 billion a year is really a drop in the bucket. For example, we'll look at the two largest stimulus package. The first one, passed underneath former President Donald Trump, was $2.2 trillion. Compared to $220 billion a year for infrastructure, it's literally 10 times more in just one of these six stimulus packages. So when we're talking about infrastructure and really building the future of our country, I mean, really infrastructure hasn't been done for a while. There's been some minor infrastructure packages done in the past, but it's been quite a while until we've seen an infrastructure package passed recently. And in my opinion, I like to look at things as a realist, not a Republican or not a Democrat. But I think it's long overdue. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, the Biden administration is coming up with several creative ways that are very controversial on how to pay for this infrastructure slash stimulus package. And one of those was just unveiled today by potentially raising taxes on the rich. And really, we're just starting to get information about this. This hasn't been officially announced yet, but one of the proposed changes is to increase the capital gains taxes on people that make $1 million or more from 20% all the way up to 39.6%. When you couple that with an additional tax that high income earners have to pay from the Obama era, then it's really basically 43.1% just in federal taxes. And then you have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes. You have to pay state taxes on top of that. And you easily could be over 60% taxes in this case, which in my opinion is crazy, even for a high income earner, to have the government taking more of your money than you get to see yourself, even though you're the one earning it and making it. You're actually sending more money to the government. In addition to this, the Biden administration also wants to raise taxes on the corporate tax rate from 21 to 28%. This one I'm a little more favorable for, mostly because I see so many stories about so many large corporations like Amazon that made $11.2 billion in a year and paid $0 in federal tax. Although I am personally actually more for an increase of a minimum tax. Okay, they could do this easily by then. This has already been proposed. This is one of the proposed changes, is to increase the corporate tax rate, a minimum tax rate for companies that make over $1 billion. So companies that make over $1 billion would have to pay a minimum of 15 or 20% in corporate tax in federal taxes. Because there's so many corporations, and we've gone over this in the past, there's like 100 of them out of the Fortune 500, the top 500 companies, that every year pay about $0 in federal tax. And in some cases, they actually get millions or billions of dollars back in tax rebates, tax incentives, and programs like that. So the government's actually paying them. So I think the minimum tax would actually be a better raise, because the 21 to 28% would affect some small and medium sized businesses that aren't S corps. So the money doesn't come back to you as an individual, but most small businesses are S corps or LLC S corps. But yeah, we're definitely going to be having some tax increases. The other one is a new proposed change that Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, is really pushing for, and that is to lower the prescription drug prices and forcing pharmaceutical companies to give us the same price that other countries pay for. Okay, this would potentially save the U.S. government $450 billion, which I think is per year. They haven't clarified that point, but basically, government programs like Medicare, Medicaid that have to buy millions of doses of medicine and other government programs would save the government $450 billion without a tax hike. So that's a way to save $450 billion. And Senator Bernie Sanders says that this could completely pay for Medicare raises for people on Medicare and possibly Medicaid, including hearing, dental, vision, hearing aids, and possibly other benefits. And all that could be provided for free simply by making pharmaceutical companies give us prescription drugs, at the same price that they sell it to other countries for. I personally think that's absolutely fair and should be done. Now, how they get it done, I'm sure is a little bit trickier, getting the law to state that and make them comply in a free market. Might be a little more difficult, but I definitely think they can do it. Also, the IRS chief, Charles Rettig, warns of unpaid taxes hitting $1 trillion that is owed to the government. My, that could quite pay for a lot. IRS Commissioner Charles Rettig told lawmakers this week that at the annual tax gap between the amount of taxes owed and the amount paid on time could hit $1 trillion per year, prompting bipartisan calls for action. The figure is much higher than the agency's previous estimates, and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle at the Senate Finance Committee hearing signaled a willingness to take steps toward narrowing the gap. The focus on unpaid taxes comes amid a debate on how to pay for the $2.2 trillion infrastructure package. The White House is pushing for an increased corporate tax rate, in addition to stepped up enforcement of collecting taxes from companies. Rettig said this week that the IRS's previous estimate did not even focus on cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Dogecoin, or as the cool people say it, dog coin, right? Right? So the previous IRS estimates do not even include taxes on cryptocurrencies and income from foreign and illegal sources. He mentioned a report by the IRS that estimated collecting all unpaid taxes from taxpayers just in the top 1% of income alone would raise $175 billion in annual revenue. He says, I think if you add those in, I think it would be not outlandish to believe that the actual tax gap could approach and possibly exceed $1 trillion per year. So, yeah, there are actually some very creative ways that they can pay for stimulus checks and stimulus packages and the infrastructure package without actually raising taxes. Pretty interesting. Also, today, the House of Representatives approved a bill to make Washington, D.C. a state, which most Washington, D.C. representatives or most Washington, D.C. residents would say they pay taxes without representation. And they're not a state, so they can't actually vote in regards to that in those manners. The House, in a party line vote on Thursday, approved legislation to make Washington, D.C. the 51st state in the nation, sending the bill to the Senate. It's the second time the House approved such legislation in 2 years, but the bill has an uphill battle in the Senate between evenly divided parties. Winning a vote in the Senate would likely require ending the filibuster that requires most legislation to clear a 60 vote hurdle. Even then, not all 50 Democrats in the Senate possibly even back making Washington, D.C. a state, which is kind of shocking to me. The 216 to 208 House vote on H.R. 51, named to reflect that D.C. would become the nation's 51st state, comes as Democrats have stepped up their efforts on a series of measures aimed at racial justice. For decades, Washington, D.C. was a majority black city. Today, its population is just under 50% black. The White House on Tuesday formally declared its support for the legislation, saying it would provide the residents of D.C. long overdue representation in Congress. Republicans are opposed to giving D.C. statehood, in part because it would likely lead to 2 more Democratic senators and a Democratic House member, giving the district political leanings. They've also offered other arguments against statehood, saying that the founders, quote, didn't intend for the city to be a state, or that it would be better for Washington to become part of an existing state, such as Maryland. One Republican lawmaker said Washington, D.C. should not be a state because it has no car dealerships, but the district actually has a number of car dealerships. And yeah, my wife is laughing in the background. I don't know. I don't see any reason why Washington, D.C. shouldn't be a district or it shouldn't be a state. Let me know your thoughts. But apparently, Republicans are against it because they know that it'll become Democratic. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. So I'll keep you up to date on all these new provisions of the fourth stimulus check package, the stimulus checks, the recurring stimulus checks that they're pushing for. As you know, in the last 24 hours, we had a lot of big information about free community college, new unemployment reform. That was a few days ago where they want to increase unemployment benefits, as well as this new SSI Social Security increase of $279 per month, I believe it was. That was a huge, huge bill. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date on all new stimulus items. Remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss an episode because we cover different things in different episodes. You can click this video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this one is about the brand new Social Security increase proposal to raise the monthly payments on Social Security SSI. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.